but throughout. So the third and final tier is going to be the advanced tier. This is where you're grabbing those common objections that we're getting out there in the field, and are we able to handle them during a particular part of our presentation? And you can't get to that tier three presentation skill set if we're not putting in the role play. We as an agency, even our home office, is providing you with trainings each and every week to give you the things that you need to succeed. All we ask is you do the other, because 50% of that is only going to, oh, wait, 100% of us is only going to be 50% of what it's going to take for you to be successful here. The other 50% is going to come from you, right? What are you doing with that time during your week to get that presentation skill set, right? And we talk about this, I think I talked about it in the agency a couple of weeks ago, or maybe on Friday, was if you lack confidence, all you're missing is evidence, okay? If you lack confidence, all you need is evidence. So how do you do that? Number one, you've got to role play. The other thing I do is I record myself. So something that gave me a lot of evidence on where my skill set was when I recorded myself. Man, was that a game changer for me? That was such a big game changer for me. It is not easy to do, but it is simple. So I want to challenge each and every one of you, if you haven't done so already and you want to take your presentation to the next level, get a recording. And then what you want to do is you want to do three things. Number one, listen to the audio. Don't look at the visual. The other thing you want to do is lower the volume down and just watch the visual, right? Is your body language there? Are you smiling? Are you looking too much at the slide? What does that look like? And then number three, you want to listen to the audio and watch the video, but you want to look for filler words, right? Are you saying too many repetitive terms or phrases that just make that presentation watered down and take away from the value? So you want to just make sure that that presentation is getting honed in on. The other thing we talked about last week was objection handling. Are we taking the time to get those objections down? Now, here's the deal. If you're getting your presentation to tier three and you're able to handle objections throughout the presentation already, you're going to get a lot less objections during or at the end of the presentation. So again, and the other thing too was your tie downs. If you're tying down and getting them to say yes throughout your presentation, you're going to get a lot more movement at the end because you've been closing them already. So now, in today's segment, which I'm super excited to cover with you, we're going to be talking about referral gathering. Man, oh man, I'll tell you what, referral gathering is the one cheat code in the business. It's the one and only cheat code that will allow for you to be able to enhance, multiply, and exponentially increase your efforts in the field. And again, it goes back, you reap what you sow, okay? If you're just doing the basics, it's going to get you somewhere, but it's not going to be moving as quickly as you'd want it to. But if you're doing everything right, you're getting more. So when I think of these little details that we've been bringing to you during these trainings, and you're going in, what you're doing is you're adding more. Your soil, the soil that you're putting your business in, starts to create a better harvest, right? Your transitions, your tie downs, your objection handling, all of these things combined create more nutrients for your success. More nutrients for your success, right? So our system, think about it this way. Our system is the seed, right? It's the plant that creates success. But with that system, are you putting it in a soil that creates fruit when you're out there in the marketplace? And so again, I wanted to give you an analogy to see how important it is to be dialing on these little things. So now that we've gone through and introduced or recapped what we've been going into, the other thing too we talked about was the paperwork, okay? The paperwork. A lot of people we got on the team know how to present, but we've got some people that still may not understand what they're getting the decision maker to sign. Take some time to review it. Is your terminology professional, or do you sound uncertain? Are you using words like basically, kind of? What this pretty much says is ABC, right? You've got to use words that are certain, professional, and of course there's earnest. You are on it. It's transparency there, right? So just something to think about. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into the referral gathering process. And for those of you that are note takers, please have your note taking materials ready. We're going to be talking about a few things. This recording will be available on YouTube. You're going to be able to have access to it to review it again. So check out our YouTube channel, guys. There's a lot of great material on there. It's at no cost to you. It's our way of bringing more value to you and giving you all the necessary material to you at the touch of your fingertips. So let's dive right in. So first, let's talk about why. Why do we collect referrals? And first and foremost, these are facts, guys. Whenever I bring this type of training to you, I do my research. It's not just kind of, yes, part of it has to do with the experience that I've had in the field, but also a part of it is the research, right? What are we seeing throughout the entire marketplace? And what research has found is that when you collect referrals, you have a 30% higher chance of converting that referral, right? That's according to a Heinz market study that was done in 2024. So again, make sure you're staying in the details there. I'm just giving you guys some more education on why referral gathering is important. And this one's one that you've heard me say quite a bit, but it is one of the most eye-opening ones. And that's 84% of business to business decision makers start the buying process with a referral. Not from a referral, but with a referral. You go in with a referral, you've got a buying process opportunity at an 84% increase. So again, right? And now here's the other thing too. Companies with referral programs have reported 71% higher conversion rates. Think about that. Whatever you're converting at right now, what if you can convert that, increase that conversion by 71% of that percentage, right? So maybe taking it up from 40%, 50% potentially. And that's by making sure that you're collecting referrals. The other piece here is 59% of companies with referral programs have higher value clients, right? These referrals that we're collecting, that we're partnering with, stay around longer, right? They see that there's a network, there's familiarity, there's social proof, lots of great things psychologically there. And 69% have reported faster closing cycles, right? So whatever may be taking you a week to 2 weeks to close or partner with, you can cut that time potentially in half and maybe close it right there on the spot by having a list of names or referrals that you can be working regularly in and out. Now, here's what's going to give us the edge, right? There's well over 100 agencies throughout the nation, right? And I like friendly competition, right? Don't get me wrong. This is the most talented team we've ever had with the growth that we're having, with the things that we've got in place. So again, just wanted to put this out there. So to continue to have that edge is understanding this. Only 30% of business to business companies have a formalized referral program, meaning that they're putting it as a priority, they're training on it, they're recognizing it, and again, it's something that they're using every single week, every single day. So again, just want to remind you, if we want to be better than the other, what is that? 70% of people in our line of work, this is the way that we're going to be able to be at the top spot. So again, I know our goal is $8 million. I truly believe that this being a focal point for us at all times will give us that advantage in achieving that and beyond. So a couple of things there. Now, I'm all about expectations. Now that we know the facts, let's talk about what to expect. Number one, in order for this to work, you have to be consistent. If you want results in the referral gathering business, right, in our line of work, you have to be consistently asking. The number two is the referral gathering. You have to understand it's another art of the business. Okay. It's another art. There's a lot of creative ways that you can get referrals, which I'm going to be talking a little bit more about today. And then the other thing too is expect adversity. Not everyone that you ask is going to be able to give you referrals in the moment, but as long as you're consistently asking, you're going to be able to make more income, followed by that cash flow that's consistent each and every week. And again, it goes back to that consistency factor. Okay. So what to expect? You need to be consistent. You need to make sure that you understand that there's a lot of creative ways to get referrals. Number three, expect adversity, right? It's not going to be perfect, but the fact that you're doing it is big. And then expect an increase in income, increase in cash flow. All right. So let's talk about the mindset. 91% of customers say they'd give referrals, but only 11% of sales professionals ever ask. Whoa, come on now. Think about that. 91% of customers say they would give referrals, but only 11% of sales professionals ask, right? I don't know, Brian. I don't know how many accounts we currently have. I think it's well over 2,700. But imagine if those 2,700 existing accounts, we're constantly asking for referrals at every given moment, right? And even the new ones we're partnering with, are we asking for referrals from those? Lots of great opportunity. We're going to be better than the other 89% in our line of work. So a couple of places you want to be asking for referrals is number one, after meeting a decision maker. Key opportunity. Number two, after you've given a presentation. Number three, after you've completed an initial enrollment. And number four, after the re-enrollment has been completed. All right. These are key opportunities for you to always be asking. There's been opportunities where for me, I've asked gatekeepers before, right? I know some people are like, okay, how can I get that? Well, you never know. You never know. Let's say I've been walking into this business and I ended up partnering with this business. I'm dropping the blue book off. The gatekeeper is good friends with, I'm good friends with that gatekeeper. Hey, listen, Jenny, I know you and I have been, connected for quite some time. Who do you know in the area that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to, right? It's as simple as asking. What's the worst thing they can say? No, I don't have anybody right now. No worries. But they know that that's something that you are looking for. So the way to be able to approach a business owner after you've met them, how do you ask for a referral in this particular scenario? So something to keep in mind, regardless of what happens, team, if I convert them or not, this is how you can approach it. Now, John, I'm looking forward to seeing you on July next week on Thursday at 9 a.m. But I wanted to ask you, who do you know in the city of Orlando that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to, right? So let's say I did set up an appointment, right? I believe in what I do so much. I know I'm going to bring value when we meet, but I'm not going to miss out on a key opportunity because here's the deal. If I converted this opportunity, right? If I converted this business owner, here's what I know. I built a relationship. This person likes me. This person has somewhat a level of trust with me. Why not take that opportunity to ask? What are they going to say? Oh, wait, cancel our appointment because you asked me for a referral. Come on now. So always be asking. Now, let's say you talk to the decision maker and you exhausted all the scripts. You try to get an appointment or even a presentation on the spot, but you still didn't move the needle. You can still ask for a referral. Because here's the deal, guys. If you're doing what we're training you to do, building rapport using research, utilizing the 30-second commercial appropriately, tying down and being professional at all times, even if they don't convert with you, they still respect you. Most of them, okay? So here's how I would ask. Hey, listen, John, I understand this may not align with your schedule at this time, but who do you know in the area that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to? Something I like to do as well is uh, if I've converted, I like to compliment them. Hey, listen, John, I completely understand. I did want to ask, with you being such a staple here in the area, who do you know in the area that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to? Giving them that small compliment of letting them know that they are a staple in their community, that alone is going to trigger that psychological thinking that, look, I want to help this person. He or she is respectable. They seem to know what they're talking about. It just doesn't align with me at this moment. I wouldn't mind helping them get in front of somebody else. So just something to give you guys a little bit more of a foundation on how to approach a conversation, whether you've converted them to an appointment or presentation or not. All right. Moving on to the next opportunity, right? How do I collect a referral after I've given a presentation? All right. This one's one of my favorite ones because you've given a lot more value, right? When you've reached this point, there's been a rapport, there's been a conversion. So now we're sitting down, and I'm sure most of you, if not all, are sitting down with these business owners in the presentation and are building, rapport before you get into the presentation, right? So a lot more trust, a lot more likability, a lot more understanding of what it is that we do. So the likelihood of them giving you more referrals after this part of the process is a lot more likely because they know you at a deeper level and they understand a lot more about what you do. So how do we approach this? So whether you close them or not, I want to give you guys a way to approach this. Now, here's the deal. If you don't convert the close, right? Let's say you present, but you don't convert the close, you want to always execute the script, right? Make sure you're handling objections. Don't just say, oh, well, no worries, give me a referral, right? You want to handle objections, rebuttal, and get to that point. But you want to here's the way that it would work, right? So let's say I did close this business, right? Or I didn't close this business. Hey, listen, John, I completely understand this is not something that aligns with you at this time. But with you being such a big staple in the Orlando area, who do you know that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to, right? That is key. The other one is, let's say I did close this business and I'm partnered with them and I'm scheduled to come in a week or two. Same thing like the appointment, right? Now, John, I'm looking forward to serving you and your employees. I did want to ask, however, who do you know in the city of Orlando that owns a business that I can introduce myself to? Right? The key here is introduce myself to. We did at one point say, who do you know in the area who do you know that can benefit from what we do? All right. We used to say it that way, right? Who do you know in the area that can benefit from what we do? But making that adjustment of saying, who do you know in the area that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to? Right? Because if we say it like, who do you know in the area that can also benefit from what we do? Right? They don't know if they can benefit from what we do. They don't know. So that kind of adds a little bit of strain on who they can point you in the direction towards. But if you say, keep it simple, who do you know in the area that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to? Right? That's all we're looking for is I want someone to introduce myself to. It's a small ask, but it gives you great direction and it gives you that name drop ability. All right. So whether you close the presentation or not, you want to make sure that you are asking, right? Now, John, I completely understand this may not be something that aligns with you at this time, but who do you know in the Orlando area that owns a business that I can introduce myself to, right? So Make sure that that's something you're doing. The other time you could do this is after an enrollment has been completed, right? So after completing the blue book delivery, right, the what comes next form, right, making sure that your business stays in good standing, they're paying their bill on time. That's why it's critical. So by this point of the process, you've not only built rapport using research, got a conversion, did a presentation, already completed the enrollment, lots of great things that you have in your tool belt to be able to approach this particular scenario, to be able to open up for referrals, right? So how do we approach this is now, John, I wanted to come in and let you know, just give you some good updates on overall enrollment. We were able to protect well over 80% of your staff with well over $1.2 million worth of permanent coverage. And with all that considered and how you've benefited from this, I wanted to ask you, who do you know in the area that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to? Right? What I'm utilizing there is that proof, right? Hey, you've got this much participation. We were able to provide with most business owners are number people, right? You can say 80%, which is great, but also letting them know how much coverage you got them for us, that'll blow their mind. And it'll add more weight to the value that it is that you brought, right? All of this happened because of that one decision. That one decision to let us come in, provide value, do the needs analysis, and provide coverage where there's need, right? So again, huge opportunity. The next one is after a re-enrollment. Okay. After a re-enrollment has been completed, this one is also fantastic opportunity because it's even a step further than one that is going to be initially enrolled, meaning it's never been enrolled before. It's the first time you're coming in. This one, on the other hand, a re-enrollment, we've been going in and partnered with this business for normally 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 years. So a lot of great history. There's been probably claims that have been paid at this business. So let me go ahead and show you how we approach that, right? So after delivering the new payroll redirection authorizations, right? So they have the blue book, they understand how to pay the bill, they know how it all works, but they do need some new payroll redirection authorizations. Let's go ahead and see how that approach looks like. Now, John, thank you for allowing us to serve you. As of right now, we have well over 25 out of your 33 employees that currently have coverage with us. We've also been able to pay. Now, this is if applicable, if make sure you're doing your research, right? If I'm working a re-enrollment, I'd like to ask some of these questions to my agency director or even the quality manager, or I know we do have a way of tracking our claims. So get with your leadership team, see if there's any kind of information you can go with to this re-enrollment to give you more value. So we've been able to pay well over $100,000 worth of claims for your team this year. And with all that considered, Brian, who do you know in the area that could benefit from what we do just like you did? And something else you can do here is normally, I mean, you could pull up a list, your route list, and show them, hey, here's just a couple of businesses that I'm going to be stopping in today. Let me know which one of these ring a bell for you. And then you could just name them. Hey, I've got John Towing or John Smith over at Smith Towing. I've got, and so now you're helping them think of some while you're going through this process. The deeper we go in regards to the partnership, right? You've already got an enrollment, you've dropped everything off. This is a re-enrollment. The deeper you go in the process, the longer we've had them as an account, the more likely they are to give you a referral. There's more value there. So it's something to be thinking about while I'm going through this. One of the things I want to remind you, team, is this is an expectation. If you're working a re-enrollment or you're doing an enrollment in general, every enrollment, you need to be completing a client feedback form, right? So a couple of things here. I don't know if you guys can read it from where you're at, but I'm going to read these questions for you. Of course, you'd put the name of the business at the top left. You'd put the name of the bookkeeper at the top right. And then you'd go through the questions. This isn't something that you want to have them fill out, right? You don't just give it to them and then kind of, oh, I'll come back and pick it up. You want to walk through this process with them, right? Hey, listen, man, your feedback is so valuable. It helps us stay at the top of our game and we can better help other clients. So I just got a couple of questions to get your feedback on. Is that fair? Awesome. So first question, my man, is what went well with your enrollment? What did you like the most? Okay, perfect. Now, as far as I know, you did mention some things that we did great. What could we improve for next year? I'll bring more donuts. All right, perfect. Right? Bring bagels next time, whatever that small detail may be. So what we're doing here, guys, it's not only giving you more proof and letting the DM think about what went well and some small adjustments that we can make. It keeps that relationship valuable, right? It keeps that connection going from a customer to a company feedback, right? And then, of course, some suggestions, any comments, or you can even include some comments, some suggestions, maybe some things that aren't on this form. And then here's what I'd love to do. I recommend, the company recommends that you schedule the next enrollment date. All right. Whether it's 6 months, even a year in advance. Because, guys, here's the thing. Many of you go to the dentist. Many of you go to the doctor, right? If I leave the doctor's office or if I leave the dentist, okay, before I leave, guess what I'm doing? I'm scheduling my next cleaning 6 months from now, right? Or my next checkup. Same thing with doctor's offices. I'm coming in for my annual checkup. I want to make sure everything's right. So, boom, I go in. Before I leave, they get me on the calendar to come back. So, that's another great way for you to be able to ensure that these enrollments are going to be following suit the next year. Expectations are set. The good news for you is you know you've got an enrollment. And normally, when they're looking for that date, they're going to be having their calendar in front of them, right? They're going to be having their calendar in front of them. So, and then if you see down there at the bottom, you can be asking, what other business owners do you know that might be able to offer the same services, that we might be able to offer the same services to? John, most employers that we've partnered with give us about 3 to 5 referrals. Who would you like to refer first? Right? Be assumptive when it comes to that, right? Be assumptive, and it's going to create a lot more momentum for you. Now that you know, of course, where and when to ask for referrals and even the logic about why it's important, I want to demonstrate to you how to log a referral. So I'm going to go ahead and share my other screen on my phone here. Give me a second. And then I'm going to walk you through. And if you've got your phones out, feel free. You can pull up your Salesforce while I walk through this. Many of you that have been with us for some time should know how to do this. If you're fairly new to the call or you're new to the team, this is a great opportunity for you to do so. The first thing you're going to do is pull up your Salesforce app. You're going to pull up your Salesforce app. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop share here. All right. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, baby. Come on. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and rock and roll. So I'm going to go here. All right. This is what it's going to look like when you first open it up. You're going to open up your Salesforce. Down here at the bottom right-hand side where it says menu, I'm going to go ahead and click menu. I'm going to look for the leads tab, which is right under the Sales Genie prospecting and right above the GeoPoint map. I'm going to go ahead and click leads. Of course, it has my recent leads. It has everything that I've looked for or interacted with. And then I'm going to go up to the upper right-hand side where it says new. All right. Because again, I collected a few referrals. I wrote them down. I know. Here's the deal, guys. By the way, if you don't have somebody to talk to, like a DM name, right? If they're just telling, hey, you want to go check out 123 Towing, you want to get a business owner name, right? If they say, hey, you want to go check, why don't you go check 123 Towing down the street? Okay, yeah, perfect. I'll be more than happy to do that. Who would I speak to there? You want to get the name, right? Don't just get the name of the business. You got to get the name of the decision maker, right? So after I've gone in here and I click new, it's going to ask me, let me get this camera on. It's going to ask me, is it a work site, individual, or small business lead? I'm going to go work site. I'm going to, of course, put the name of the business owner that I collected. If I don't got a last name, don't worry. You could just put NA for non-applicable and just put the first name there. You're going to put the name of the company. 123 Towing. I'm going to, of course, I don't have the phone number yet. I can always go back in the lead whenever I go meet with the business owner and we partner with them and I want to put we could always do that. I'm going to put the title in there, whether it's the owner, the CEO, CFO, CO, whatever they are. Then when I'm going to go here, I'm going to put qualified. Here's the thing you have to make sure you select, okay? It's going to be campaign type. This is going to be critical. Why? Because when I open up my map and I go to the referral layer, which I'll show you here in just a second, this particular lead is going to populate in that layer. So now all I have to do is click one layer and all of my referrals are going to populate in that area instead of going to my qualified leads and try to find everything. So in this sense, I'm going to select business referral. All right. I went in there. I'm going to, again, you can do your research. Normally you can go in Google if they give you the name of the business and you can go on Google and find the address, put the address in there and drive, right? And then you're going to go ahead and click save. I'm not going to save it, but I just want to give you guys an idea of what that looks like. All right. So once I go here, I go to my GeoPoint map and here's where you can find them. This very similar layout is going to be available on your laptop, right? On your computer. There's a little Manila folder, right? Or a little folder icon. I'm going to open that up and then I'm going to go to worksite. And then there's a worksite referral leads folder. Just by clicking that one layer, it's going to show me everything that I have in the referral layer. So I've got one referral here. right? I can go in it. So instead of having to go into my qualified lead layer and try to find it, right? Because I've got thousands in there, I can just click one layer and it populates the two that I have in my database without having to go through thousands and thousands. It just saves you a ton of time. All right. So just to recap this. So let's say again, I got referrals. How do I create one? You go to menu, you go to leads, you go to new. Okay. After I go to new, I'm going to put the names. The key here that you want to do is you want to qualify it first. And then you can always disposition it unqualified later. So if you do happen to drive that business and then you find out that it's not a qualified business to work with us, you can always go back and unqualify it. And then what you do is you're going to go, the big thing is you want to put campaign type and select referral there. Now it's going to assign this lead to the referral layer. Okay. So with all that being said, team, that is how you log a referral lead. Now, I've got a couple of other slides I'm going to cover with you here in just a moment. If you were able to follow along, great. If you don't worry. This recording will be available on Agent Services. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once again.
Bruce, while you're swapping to the other screen, just a quick question. I was watching you on logging that lead and being able to go back in and add the address later. Wouldn't you want to go ahead and add the city that it's in when you're creating the lead? So when you're pulling up your GeoPoint, you can add the specific address, but make sure you add city and state. I know when we're pulling, referrals for like the Friday Zoom, we draw a shape around the areas we work. And if you don't put the city and state, I don't know that it would populate.
Always. Yeah, always. That's why, of course, when you get the great point, Brian, is when you do find the business after they've given you a name and the name of the business, because if you ask the business owner, hey, what's the address to this referral, you're not going to get it unless they have the business card handy in their pocket. But you're going to have to do your research afterwards, find out where it's located. They may tell you kind of how to get to it. Hey, is it located nearby or what? Okay, perfect. You can Google search it, but make sure you're putting the name of the city, everything that you don't just put the address or the street name. You've got to put everything that it needs, zip code, once you find it via research in there. So
I just didn't want them to forget to go back in later. I know
no.
sometimes we get busy, and while you're in it, putting the decision maker's name, the name of the business, and you're saving everything, don't save it without the city and state at least a minimum of the first time you save it. Then when you go back in later, you can add the specific, street name, but just when you get that lead, like Bruce said, you're not going to be able to get the address. They're going to give you a person's name, the name of the business. It's probably going to be in the city that you're in, whatever city you're working. So just put whatever city that you're in, and then you can get the specific address later.
Yeah, the other thing too is you have to put the address and the city in there because when you're building your route and you want to put this on your route, it's not going to be able to register accordingly because with the GeoPoint code system, that's how, whenever you can schedule your route to be schedule based or distance based, it just helps with that optimization of your route. So again, super important piece. Make sure you're getting that updated and let's make sure we're not missing on that. Great point, Brian. Thank you for that. A couple of other things I want to remind you of is what are the ways can I get referrals, right? Or what are the ways can I just continue to build momentum from a business that I have that's existing? Number one is golden tickets. What are those? Typically, what those are is after you've given a presentation or you finished an enrollment, or let's say you set up an appointment and they gave you the name of a business to go down to. Hey, John, would you do me a favor and get a business card and just write a quick sentence letting them know that this is something that you're referring me to them on, that I can introduce myself to, just say, hey, worked with John, super awesome. You may want to give this guy a listen. And then what you do is you grab that business card or a little sticky note and give it to the business owner when you meet him. Hey, listen, John, I wanted to connect with you because I was speaking with John over down the street and we were able to partner with the guy. We've actually been partners for well over 3 years, and he did mention to hand this to you. It's of course just a way to let you know that this is a real reference. But anyway, just wanted to go over what we do. We help employers like yourself provide valuable benefits, just like we did for John. It again helps you save on some tax dollars and send at no cost to your business. It only takes a few minutes to show you how we've been able to help John. Is now a good time, right? So utilizing that golden ticket, huge opportunity. It gives a little bit more physical evidence that it's real, right? They can hold it in their hand. They're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Let's go ahead and rock it out, right? The next one is business next door, right? Let's say I leave, set up an appointment, or I did a presentation. you can ask for the name of the business next door. If it's a business that you're like, man, I wonder what they do there. Or hey, listen, John, I'm getting ready to walk into the business next door. Who would I need to speak to there to be able to, of course, connect with them, right? From there, that's creating a cool opportunity because most businesses that work within a certain, it's just neighbors, right? Just like some of you know your neighbors across the street or next door. Business owners know theirs. So asking who the business owner is next door would be a great way to get yourself another opportunity to get referrals within that local area, right? So, and then one of my other favorites is a referral letter. For those of you that have been with us for a couple of months, for a whole year, and you've got a couple of cases under your belt, several cases, get referral letters. Build a portfolio of referral letters. Now, again, I know you're probably wondering, like, how do I put a referral letter together? Hey, listen, you can build a template. I know they got Chat GPT nowadays that can help you put something to put together. Take it to the DM and say, hey, man, look, this is just something that I typed up with. If you can put this on a company header and sign it if you like it, or you can adjust it, right? Does it align with what we do? And some businesses are like, the heck with that. Let me type one up that's real, right? But just giving them a template on what a referral letter needs to look like will help them make that process a little simpler. They don't want to have to think about a paragraph or a couple of sentences. Give them something to use to give you a referral letter. So now here's the cool part. If I've got 10 referral letters in my binder and I'm in the middle of a presentation, right? I could start my presentation. Hey, listen, John, I'm super excited to get to covering this with you to see if you qualify. Before I get started, though, my man, here's just a couple of referral letters of some businesses that I have in the area for your reference. Okay, awesome, man. I've got a couple of questions for you as well to see if this even makes sense, right? So what I'm doing is I'm using my social proof as a way to start the presentation off on a good foot. It's a small adjustment. Again, it's worked for me. I've seen others do it. It's just another good way to help you add that social proof to what you're doing and bringing to the table. So referral letters are amazing. Now, for those of you that, of course, have closed and are moving the needle, and maybe the month of May has been a little slower for you, here's a good way to do it, right? You want to make a list of all the accounts that you've closed for the year, track which ones you've reached out to, right? Are you going to these and getting referrals? Which ones have you yet to reach out to get referrals, right? And then what I would do is, if you haven't reached out, reach out and get some referral letters, because here's what's going to happen. Let me just give you an example of what the math looks like, right? If I have 26 existing accounts and 3 referrals are gathered from each, that's a total of 78 referrals. If we present to 33% of them, right, that's going to be 26 total presentations. Now, again, I mentioned to you that we have a larger conversion rate of those presentations. So instead of closing 25 or 30% of those, we're closing 51% of those. That's 13 additional closes at $4,800 worth of annualized premium. That's $62,000 extra dollars in production from utilizing what you currently already have. If you've got 4 businesses, you just started, you got 4, go to those. Get a referral letter. Get 2 to 3 referrals that you can start. Hey, listen, and the approach is everything. Hey, listen, Jenny, I wanted to come back first and foremost to check in with you, make sure everything was okay. Awesome. Hey, another thing too is, for me, I'm big on making sure that I'm, helping as many families and business owners as I can. And with you being such a big staple in the community, I wanted to reach out to see who you knew that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to. Right? It's convicting, right? Hey, super passionate about. I've been in the business for X amount of time. I'm new to this area though, and I would really like to impact and help as many families as I can. And with you being such a big staple in the area, I was coming to you for help on knowing who do you know that can help, that also owns a business that I can introduce myself to, right? I sound convicted because I really do. I want to help families, right? That's at my core. So whenever I approach a business owner on who their network is and asking them about it, people like to help. Like you mentioned, an existing customer, 91% of them would give referrals, but only 11% of people are asking. So I'm going and asking because I'm convicted. I genuinely want to help people, and I have no problem asking for help in doing so. So that's just some math, guys. Big numbers, little thing, right? Such a little thing of asking for referrals can make a big difference in what your business is doing now. Couple of best practices. Number 1, make sure you're logging these leads accurately. To Brian's point earlier, don't just put the name of the person and the business. Make sure you're getting all the address information in there. Maybe put in the employee count, right? All of these good pieces of information. Keep that lead up to date so that way, whenever you're going back to it, you know exactly what's going on in that business. Number 2, role play, okay? Everything we talked about, I've given you some scripts, some guidance on how to approach these conversations. role play how you're going to do it. I've given you a recommended script. You can role play that. That way you have that in your tool belt to know how to approach it. It's pretty simple as asking for it, which is going to help you expose yourself to that. Next is you want to ask for referrals consistently. Guys, it's that simple. Every shot not taken is a shot missed. So if you're not asking, you're already missing the boat, right? The numbers don't lie. 84%, guys, it's a big number of business to business decision makers start the process from a referral. So last thing I'm going to end it with, guys, is recap. Number one, be consistent. If you want results, you have to have that. Number two, remember the facts. 91% of consumers say they would give referrals, but only 11% ask for them. 84% of business to business decision makers start the buying process from a referral. Only 30% of business to business companies have a formalized referral program. And then lastly, collect a client feedback form. That's expected. Let's get it done, guys. And then lastly, I'll end it with this. Habits are developed one action at a time. So if you're new to this, if it's not in your tool belt just yet, no worries. Just get the action behind it and watch how this grows your team and your results, guys. Hope this brought value to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this coming Thursday to recap some of the wins. And I'd like to hear the referrals that you guys gathered this week to help us continue to grow this agency and see more success for you guys as well. Talk to y'all soon.